What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video for Beastcoast. And today, I never thought this day would come, but after 10 years of not asking, honestly, I did not ask for this game, but after a 10-year wait, a new Melty Blood game got announced by French Bread today. So in today's video, I want to talk with ApologyMan about not just the game's announcement and like how we feel about it, but also some of the details that they announced about the game, because there's a pretty extended interview that went along with this announcement where they're talking about some of their ideas, the motivation for the game even existing in the first place, and what we can expect to see.
So yeah, I'm not as experienced in Melty Blood as LK is. He's actually a Evo runner-up, two time.
You're mixing it up. Like there was only one Melty Blood Evo tournament, but yeah, I got second at that tournament.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
One time. My bad.
One time, because there's only one Melty Blood.
Right. So yeah, he definitely has much more experience in the series than I do. But I like played it like a bit like on the side like back in the day. But so I'm like familiar with like its like mechanics, like reverse speeding and like it's like moon system. Like I like kind of understand like how the game has been, but it's never been like a main focus of mine. But I'm like definitely like really excited to see how they're gonna change it, because it's like it's a reboot, right? It's not just an update to current code. Like it's like an actual like new game from the ground up with like the old cast like slowly probably gonna be rolled out over time.
Yeah, like it's pretty surprising. So they were saying that one, they're going to like, I mean, like you said, it's a reboot. So Melty Blood, actually, again, current code for people who have not played that game. The closest comparisons I could give to other fighting games, as far as how crazy the game is probably a game like either Guilty Gear Action Core Plus R, or if you don't play anime, I would say something like Marvel 3. Like the game was the last version of Melty Blood they ever released, so they kind of just gave characters, let's say, things they may not have needed, just for fun, just so everyone will enjoy the game and be able to do crazy stuff. And from a context of playing Melty Blood for a long time, it's a pretty nutty game. So they're gonna step back a little bit. They're resetting the cast a little bit. A really big point they made is that Melty Blood is a very story-based driven game, and one of the things that surprised me about the announcement, and I've been thinking has been just also, wow, this really makes sense, is when I think about like what modern fighting game developers want. So one thing is they want the games to be accessible. Two, they want more single player stuff. So Melty Blood is really story driven, which is great for single player. And the game is only a 3-button game, just light, medium, heavy, and then there's a parry button as well. But like there's only 3 attack buttons in the game. So in like today's fighting game realm, it's a pretty, like, they don't have to do a lot of stuff to the system to make it more accessible straight up, because the game itself was designed from like the bottom up to be just like a simpler to get into game. While it still has a ton of depth, trust me, a ton of depth. The game at a glance not only has that, but also doesn't have any complicated inputs. Like the hardest inputs in that game is like half circles, basically. Like there's only quarter circles, half circles, DP motions, but like that's pretty much it. So the more I thought about it, the more I think about like, oh, it makes sense that, you know, they're picking this and they're going with this.
No, yeah, for sure. When you were talking about it, I was like, I feel like Melty Blood in general and like a lot of older anime games in general get the rap that it's like, oh, there's a lot of depth, it's really hard. But like Melty, like I remember just like I like didn't really play, but like, you know, I knew a few combos. Like it wasn't like that difficult. Like it was a 4-button game, right? So it wasn't a whole lot like execution wise that I expected. Like I'm like the more you got into it, obviously the more depth and like skill ceiling was there. But it was actually like pretty easy to get into from what I remember, even if I didn't fully understand the systems. And I think that's like very in line with a lot of like modern fighting games nowadays, because they did talk about accessibility, right? And I feel like that's like a really scary word for like a lot of fighting game players nowadays. But accessibility.
It's gonna be scrubby.
It's gonna be easy, but like there's I feel like every game that's come out that's supposed to be easy has just not been. You know, like it's they're doing things that make make the experience a little bit more like palatable and like easier to get into. But like the depth will for sure be there no matter what. And I think Melty like will for sure, like whatever new systems like they create, keep all that intact. Do you think the air dash input will change? Do you think there'll be an air dash button, LK?
Well, actually there is an air dash button in that game, so
Wait,
there's an air dash macro built into the game. It's there. What do you mean? Is it good? Like
no, I mean,
it's
I mean
there,
people use,
so
I don't know.
I use
did
both
the weird.
when I play.
Okay.
I use both. So I use both. There's one I use only in combos, and there's the other that I use for like neutral, which sounds kind of weird, but like that's just I used both. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just remember the IAD being kind of like a what was the input exactly? It was kind of weird. It wasn't like the conventional.
It's 686. It's really cursed.
Yeah.
It's super cursed.
686. So I
not on
remember
purpose.
that being weird. But
it's not on purpose, but like it'd be like that, you know. One of the really big things too, and probably the other big reason this announcement is really big is because this is another. So you know, we've all been this COVID thing together and stuff. Netcode is a really big deal, and this game was announced with rollback. Like they were like, this game has rollback, boom, which is another pretty big deal for this game because Melty Blood's honestly, excuse me, pretty niche game. Let's say like a cult classic for fighting game players.
Yeah.
It's in a good position to be in a popular game because now like the Nasuverse is way huger than back in the day because of stuff like Fate, FGO, all that stuff, getting people into it. And then on top of that, for the more hardcore fighting game players, I'm not one of these people, but there are a lot of people who are like, I will not play your game if it doesn't have back right now. To the point that, you know, we talked about Guilty Gear Strive on this channel, and they've had to like delay the game just so they could get rollback into the game because people are like, this, like, we're not doing this again, bro. Like, you need rollback in this game. So the fact that this game right away is gonna have rollback is another really good sign of like future releases of like it just always being a thing. We don't have to worry about delaying netcode anymore. We can just like play people whenever we want. I think it's a really good thing, especially for a game that is as accessible as Melty Blood is naturally, where Guilty Gear kind of has to like force it a little bit because of how deep they've gone and like how much stuff they've added over time. Again, Melty is a game that the depth was emergent basically. So I think these two factors, this additional factor, sorry, is another really big thing about the game that makes me really excited for it. Can't lie.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just happy that like rollback is like industry standard now, or it feels like it should be.
We'll see what
KOF
think,
like.
Yeah. I don't think
like,
but
everyone's just staring at SNK like, you're on the same boat, right? Like, they were kind of quiet in the fighting game roundtable. But yeah, like I'm happy people are just, you know, they're done with like not playing like delay based games. Like they just don't want to deal with like that netcode anymore. So like the more it's just like an industry standard, and the more like people will just like, I will only play it if it has rollback, like the better. Honestly, it's like it's a much better in the long term. And Common A actually, I remember, was very interested in it like for like a bit, right? Like I think for Uni, I remember him mentioning that he wanted to implement rollback in some way. I remember him
fell out of like following Uni. Like I don't like, honestly, like I'm not like a big Uni person. So like you know, like how, or like, you know, Tekken players do this too. Like Harada will say stuff on Twitter and people will like, you know, follow him and like pay attention and be like, oh, Harada said this, Harada said that. And of course like Uni has, the Uni equivalent is Kamone, right? But since I don't play Uni, I don't pay attention to anything. I'm not gonna lie. And of course Mori Blaze Blue doesn't say anything, so like your Daisuke doesn't say anything, so like I've never followed a producer like that. But it's good to see like they are paying attention to the community. Melty Blood is really like this is such a glow up for the game too, because like it's such a community based game. You know, like that the game right now, CC, even though I kind of memed about CC earlier, like it's kept alive by the people who play, and people do play the game, even if it's not a ton of people. People do play, so it's good. Like I'm looking forward to it. They mentioned another big thing is like since it's a new game, it's not going to be the same Melty Blood as before. For me, hearing that is for better, I think. How it is done is the question, because there's one phrase specifically that I have like basically in like highlighted from the interview where they said don't expect a neutral to play the same as old Melty Blood, and I was like, but like kind of like a good like, because they talk about CC again. So the last version of Melty Blood is a mildly cursed game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not here to slander games, but seeing it step back just like a little bit to like what I mean, not even step back, maybe like step forward, like they're gonna do something new, try something new. The game is very freeform. The way you can move in the game is very freeform because like let's say if you're a Dragon Ball player watching this, you know that you can do double jump or jump air dash, not both, right? That's a pretty common thing in Arceus games. But in Melty Blood, there's no rules like that at all. You can double jump, air dash. I mean, you can't jump, then air dash, then jump. That's the only restriction. But like, you basically have no restrictions on movement. You have no restriction in what order you do buttons. So you don't have to do light, medium, heavy. You can do heavy, medium, light if you feel like it. You can do medium, heavy, light, medium, light, heavy. There's no restriction at all. So actually a lot of room for player expression. And as long as that stays in, then I think it will be like a pretty good representation of what Melty Blood is supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure. Even Uni like has this as well. I feel like it's like very iconic with like the games that like Hamane has made, like the reverse beat. And I for sure it's gonna return. Like that is like iconic with the series, right? So I imagine it will make its return in like the new Melty as well. Do you think the new school multiplayers will like I'm sure everyone's excited for like the update, right? But do you think like the new school Melty Blood players are may not like the changes to it being more potentially like accessible or easier, or not like CC?
Are you saying that there might be are you saying that there might be like Melty Blood boomers?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
With Bloomer, right?
No, but like I'm like the most open-minded one. I play like everything.
You're very open.
I play like everything. Like there definitely gonna be some people who are like hashtag not my Melty bro.
Yeah.
Like, for real. For real.
What was your favorite version of Melty Blood? It was
It's tied. I have two that I really like. I have
you mentioned
Melty Blood Acadenza B2 is my actual favorite.
Yeah.
But I think like my overall favorite is probably the Actress Again PS2 version, because I think it's a good balance of a game being fair and a game having like interesting, cool like tech and like design choices.
For sure.
Where B2 is like really fair, but some people think it's boring because it's like too balanced.
It's too fair.
yeah, but for real, that was like a real complaint about the game. Like this game's too balanced. I'm like,
that's like a real thing though, surprisingly. Like
it is.
Fighting games need a little spice, you know.
It is. I know. It is.
What if this game goes in like a more like B2 direction? Would you like that?
Yeah. You mean like you have to be good at it to win? Like that's what it means. No, that's what it means. You have to be good at it to win. I mean, AAPS2 I think is like the best balance of all Melty Blood though, because it has a nice amount of sauce, but then like it's also like pretty fair. There's only like a couple of bad characters. Like the game's good because like Tono is top tier and he's like Ryu. Like he's so basic. He just kick you over and over. And he's top tier. He has nothing cheap except he does a lot of damage and he has long block strength. So if you don't like blocking, then he's annoying. Fine. In the current version of Melty Blood, though, the top tiers right now are like,
Earth type Earth is wild, dude.
Not trying to play that.
I see footage of like current Melty every once in a while. Like, oh wow, these characters are crazy.
She's esports for sure, bro. She's esports.
So hope that was interesting for you guys. Those are some of our early thoughts on the current information available for the new Melty Blood. We're definitely like pretty excited. If you like that, make sure to subscribe to the Beastcoast channel and leave a like on this video as well, and stay tuned for more.